What's going on there, YouTube? And welcome to Fresh Comic Stories. Guys, this is the channel where we basically sit down and cover different kinds of comic book stories from Marvel to DC to even IDW. Now guys, we're gonna jump back over to IDW and we're gonna pick up with the Turtles once again. That's right, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And we are going to cover Volume 2. Now, Volume 2 is basically issue number 6 all the way up to issue number 8. But guys, this is a very interesting storyline because you have IDW bringing the whole Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles family together, and you'll see what I mean as we go through this video. But guys, I do hope you like this video, and if you do, well, please hit that like button down below and also subscribe for more comic book stories in the near future. But let's dive into the Turtles Volume 2. So picking back up with the Turtles, Volume 2 really picks up when the Turtles are kind of out on parole, but they see some of the Foot Clan ninjas out right now as well. Now, the Turtles don't really know much about these ninjas who are Foot Clan. They heard of the Foot Clan, but the last time they saw any of them was before they mutated. And so, of course, they don't remember anything at all about the Foot Clan. But while they are watching over these two Foot Clan ninjas, they see them chasing down some random man. And so, of course, the Turtles decide to observe what is going on between the Foot Clan and this random man. Now, while observing, the Turtles see the Foot Clan corner the random man and start to attack him. At first, this random man is able to dodge most of the attacks from the Foot Clan, but at the end of the day, the random man was killed by the Foot Clan. Now, the Turtles want to intervene and try to capture the Foot Clan, but they disappear very quickly, leaving the Turtles to watch the man die. But the random man does tell the Turtles that war is coming. We then jump over to Casey Jones because right now he is going to call April O'Neil because he saw her ad for tutoring. And right now he needs someone to help him with his schoolwork before he is kicked off the hockey team. And so of course he calls up the number April had on her flyer, which of course it does lead to the two finally meeting one another for the first time in this universe. Now Casey Jones is unable to say anything at all because he just finds her so attractive that he is unable to say a word to her at all. Now we jump back to the Turtles, and right now they are telling Splinter what happened to the random man who was killed by the Foot Clan. Now this leaves Splinter kind of telling the Turtles that what they saw was members of the Foot Clan. And so with the Turtles, they are kind of getting worried about different things because now it seems like there are new villains popping up left and right, and they're all after the Turtles. Of course, with these ninjas being part of the Foot Clan, is Splinter trying to tell the Turtles that he was right. Their enemy from the past lives are back again and they have to stop them. Now, Donatello does not believe in the whole reincarnation thing that Splinter is trying to sell, because for him, everything can only be solved by science, in which no science has been able to give the idea that reincarnation can actually happen. Remember back in our graduation day video for the Turtles, Splinter told us the story about Hamato Yoshi, who was a ninja in the early days of Japan. But he was killed by his close friend who was also running the Foot Clan back then. Now Splinter really thinks that he was Hamato Yoshi from the past, that he was reborn in a rat body to possibly fight against the Foot Clan once again. But Hamato also had 4 sons who were killed back then, and so Splinter believes the Turtles are Hamato's sons from the past who are reborn but in the bodies of turtles. Now we jump over to Dr. Stockman and Old Man Hob. Now remember, Stockman was the scientist who owned Stock Gen, which was the lab that really led to the Turtles and Splinter being mutated. Old Man Hob was the cat Splinter fought back in Volume 1. But when Splinter scratched Hob in the face, Splinter had some of the mutagen on his claws when he scratched Hob in the face, which then of course led to Hob being mutated into a Catman-like creature. But back in Volume 1 of the Turtles, we found out that Hob was working with Dr. Stockman to bring in Splinter in the Turtles. But Stockman is getting annoyed with Hob because Hob had multiple chances to bring in the Turtles and had failed. And so Stockman is saying Hob has one more chance before he kills him. But Hob tells Stockman that he needs better equipment if he's going to be able to bring in Splinter and the Turtles. Now Stockman does tell Hob that maybe he has something that could actually help him. And so you have Stockman take Hob into the basement of Stock Gen, and we see that Stockman is showing off the Mousers, which are small robots that come in as an army. Now the second chapter picks up on a different planet completely. We actually pick up on the planet Nerino, and I really hope I pronounced that name correctly, and we finally get introduced to General Krang. And we come to find out he's on this planet trying to win some kind of war. But the problem is that he is losing this war on this planet. And so with him losing this war, he teleports back to Earth and on his own little private island. But we pick up with him being greeted by his assistant. And the question is, have they heard anything from Stockman? Of course, the answer is no. And so with that, General Krang thinks it's time for a face-to-face meeting with Stockman. Because remember, General Krang was the one who gave Stockman the mutagen to study and reproduce to make better. But since the whole incident with the Foot Clan in Volume 1, who broke in and led the original mutagen to go missing. Now we do pick up with Raphael and also Michelangelo, and we pick up with them going to this pizza joint and running into a guy named Woody. This is kind of giving us the idea on where Michelangelo gets his pizza from, because the man always has pizza for dinner. And so the question is, where does he get his pizza from? Well, this is them giving us a quick answer to that question with telling us he comes to this pizza joint. They have a friend who works there and his name is Woody, and he gives them pizza for free because he feels like it is the right thing to do. Now we jump back over to April O'Neil and also Casey Jones, which is them spending time with one another and kind of learning about each other. Really, it's these 2 pages are just them learning from each other. Casey Jones is teaching April how to fight, or really how to defend herself, and then she's again going to help him with his homework so he won't be kicked off the hockey team. Now we do jump back over to Stockman, and we pick up with him at his own apartment, but it's him coming home to his place to see his place has been broken into. And when he walks in to see what happened, he is greeted by General Krang. And this is General Krang wanting to know when will Stockman give him what he wanted, which is the mutagen, but a more improved version of it. But we also come to find out that General Krang also wants the psychotropic as well that was being produced. Now the only person who they'll be able to get that from would be from Splinter, since he was the only one injected with it. And so you have Stockman tell General Krang that he is working on a way of getting that back to him as well. Now we do jump back over to Leonardo, Splinter, and also Donatello, who are just discussing things in the sewer. That is when they get ambushed by the Mousers and Old Man Hob in their own home. which this battle does take up most of the pages in the book, with them just trying to defend themselves from the Mousers. Because remember, these Mousers are small, but they come in as an army, just wave after wave, and they won't stop until they have completed their mission. But when the fight goes on and on, Splinter and Donatello are knocked out, and that is only leaving Leonardo as the last man standing. But lucky for him, Raphael and Michelangelo were able to come back at the right time to try to help out to fight against the Mousers. We then jump over to Casey Jones and April O'Neil. Now, this is where you have April kind of open up to Casey Jones a tad bit. She tells him everything that happened back in volume 1 of this series, with the whole stock gym building being broken into by the Foot Clan. She even tells Casey Jones about the Turtles and Splinter the Rat, how they are missing after the break-in, but how these animals were special lab animals that were being tested on. And with that right there, you have Casey realize that there could be some kind of connection between April and his new pals, the Turtles. And so he says that he has to show her something that is really important, that is going to blow her mind. Now we jump back over to the Turtles, where most of this chapter is really just the Turtles fighting against the Mousers, which really the fight does get wrapped up with the Turtles finding a way to finally shut down the bots and figure out what the heck is going on. But here's the big thing in this chapter. You have the Turtles realize that Hob had taken Splinter away. Remember, Splinter was knocked out by the Mousers, and so with him being knocked out and the Turtles busy fighting, Hob was able to kidnap Splinter. And so now the Turtles have to come up with a plan to find their father. But when they're about to leave, they run into Casey Jones introducing April O'Neil to the Turtles. And as soon as she sees them, well, of course, she passes out, which will be the end of our video today. And so guys, please hit that like button down below and also subscribe for more comic book stories in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, this is the end for today's video, so I'll see you on the next comic book video. Later, guys.